welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. I can't wait for this Super Bowl to unfold. This is Spitface, and I'm here with the always classy and sometimes sassy host of this show, the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith. How you doing down there in warm Florida?
Oh, I'm doing real well. I mean, look, we're all excited about Super Bowl 50. What is this? 51, right? Super Bowl 51.
Is it 51 or
no? 56.
Yeah, I'm
56.
going. Yeah, I thought
sorry.
we had done that.
I'm LV1.
Yep, 56.
LVI 56. I obviously forgot my Roman numerals here. Okay, yeah, LV1, LVI. So we're looking forward to it. Yeah, obviously, Miami has been in the news, the Dolphins and our owners, so we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, they ain't going to the Super Bowl. That's the one thing we do. There is no controversy, no Super Bowl, not this year. And but First Lady, is there a Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl is in Las Vegas.
I ain't seen too much hype, and I don't, put on sports channels, and they, I did see a little bit of the, the contest they have, and that was kind of fun. But there is a Pro Bowl. Okay, all right. I guess I got to look at my channel lineup. Check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Backhand Sally. They find their saddest star or get the cold feel of the mute button. I think I dated her. I think somewhere along the line I went out with Sally. and she got a mean backhand, let me tell you. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Oh, my goodness. You confused me with that one. Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something, so we ask? What you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the Spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs wish they could fly far away from losing the AFC Championship at home to Joe Cool and the Bengals. Conventional wisdom had Mahomes as the heir apparent to Tom Brady's crown with his one Super Bowl win. If you were starting a team from scratch, who would you want at quarterback? Joe Cool or Mahomes? Did KC choke, or were they simply outplayed in a tough game? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, it was just such a disappointment with the Kansas City Chiefs. I was cussing at the TV.
Oh, no.
Yes, I was, because I could not believe that they lost that game. I really couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable, to be honest with you. And when you think about it, the game to me was similar to the Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl. That was, Super Bowl 51. That's why I had 51 on my mind this morning and when we first came on, because I remembered the Falcons and Patriots with Super Bowl 51, where the Patriots came back the same way that the Bengals came back. But I'm going to call it a choke job, just as I call the Falcons having a choke job, too. The Chiefs choke. I mean, their collapse was a result of Patrick Mahomes' cockiness and the failure of Andy Reid and Eric
Bieniemy
to adjust to their offense. I mean, I just didn't couldn't understand it, to be honest. And I'm not going to take everything away from the Bengals' outstanding defense, but to me, you must change your offensive schemes to counteract the defense. I mean, in the first half, the Bengals tried to attack the Chiefs on the front line, and the Chiefs burned them. Well, it was 21-3, I think the score was. And they should have had more points, but remember, they botched that last play before the end of the half. In the second half, the Bengals only rushed 3 players and decide to cover the wide receivers of the Chiefs, especially Kelsey and Hill. They couldn't move. So the thing is, Reed and Bieniemy needed to run more plays, like running the ball more in the second half. Throw quick passes, short passes, or, run more screens. Do something different than using the same game plans that they always do. They always want big plays. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he always thinks he can outrun the rush. Instead of throwing the ball away on quick and making quick decisions, he was sacked 3 times. And I'm going to tell you something, Spitface. If I'm not mistaken, I really should have checked this out, but I think, weren't they on the 5-yard line with like 2 minutes left in the game? They were down there in the red zone with 2 minutes left in the game. And I understand people in these analytics, and I don't know if the analytics tell you to milk the clock and don't score a touchdown right away, but it backfired for the Chiefs. You were already down, so you needed to score the touchdown. I'm sorry. You got to rely on your defense in this situation. I don't care what analytics says. And believe it or not, that's when they started going backwards. And they had ended up with a long field goal. Fortunately for them, the field goal kicker made the field goal, but they really should have had a touchdown. Forget about trying to run the clock out. Score the touchdown. And then, of course, Mahomes, he's going to throw an interception in the overtime, which caused them the game because the Bengals were able to go into field goal position to win the game. So as of today, if I had to start my franchise and who would I pick? It definitely would be Joe Cool, because he doesn't try to make this spectacular play, but he makes the more consistent right plays. His arm is just as strong as Mahomes. You remember Burrow led the NFL in the most touchdown passes on deep throws, like passes that were 20 yards or longer. That was Joe Burrow, not Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes is still a great quarterback, but right now I think Burrow is a better quarterback to start a franchise. And as I said, he's just a little bit more steady, more consistent, and he's a winner. He is a big-time winner. I mean, I know Mahomes is a winner, but now he's lost. They've had, 2 critical losses 2 years in a row. I mean, this year, if we remember, they didn't play that spectacular the entire season. They came on at the end of the season. But Mahomes, I mean, I just think he's gotten a little bit too cocky, thinking that he can rush, he can outrun the people that are trying to tackle him, and then he just gets into bad situations. I mean, you could do that maybe once a game, but you can't do it 3 or 4 times a game. I mean, it's gonna catch up to you, and that's what happened. I really think it's gonna. And Andy Reid was outcoached, definitely outcoached. And the Bengals, man, what can you say about the Bengals? I mean, I remember Stephen A. Smith always said that the Bengals needed to get rid of Marvin Lewis. They finally got rid of Marvin Lewis and got that young new coach. And he's taken them, in 2 years, I think, two years to the champion, to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's darn great, to be honest with you. I have to make you laugh. On Facebook, some of my cousins who are Jets fans, they talk about they're so hopeful now that the Jets can turn their season or turn their franchise around. I don't think so. You got to make sure you have that franchise quarterback. So I laughed when I saw some of those tweets about I'm hopeful for the Jets. No. Let's not put the Jets in the same category as the Bengals, okay? But anyway, I mean, you got to give kudos to the Bengals, but I also really think that it was Kansas City's stubbornness that really cost them to lose this job. Spitface, what do you say?
I'm looking at one thing. I'm going, Mahomes, I see you everywhere in a commercial. And there is this thing that happens when players, one thing I noticed about Tom Brady was that now Tom Brady got, just can't, hey, he the man, now he retired this week, and I hate the way that all unfolded because the man didn't get to do it the way he wanted to do because it, all came out. But other than that, Tom Brady, you did not see him in every State Farm commercial or whatever the was. You didn't see all of that with Tom Brady. And it's like you kind of wonder why. Well, one, because he had a wife that got a ton of money, So he's like, look, I ain't worried about making no extra money. Shoot, she got a ton of money. I'm trying to make the kind of money she making. So, he got all the rings. And I think Patrick Mahomes fell into he went Hollywood. And sometimes you go Hollywood, and that takes away from your game. And it gives you the big head that you can do things and you're hearing all the hype. You can do things other quarterbacks ain't never been able to do. And, he made me, in a way, he reminds me of Fran Tarkenton, except he got a ring. Now, that's the big difference, get a ring. But he may not end up being a Tom Brady with multiple rings. It can go that way. Whatever you were doing in the NFL 1 year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years with success, sooner or later, the defenses learn how to deal with you. And you got to adjust. And that's what Andy Reid didn't do. And actually, I think the Chiefs have been showing all year that they're going to whoop on you during the first half, and then the defenses make that adjustments, and you got a game in the second half. And that looks like that is what happened to them one more time, was that they've been able to kind of that second half meltdown, they've been able to escape, but they done blew a lot of halftime leads and barely won the game at the end. So some changes it will be occurring for Kansas City, especially if Bieniemy ends up being the only black coach hired as a head coach this season for the New Orleans Saints. So there's going to be some changes there, but which are needed. And but now and I'm going to say it now. Mahomes will not win another Super Bowl within the next 4 years.
Ooh.
Nada. KC will not be winning another. Now, they'll be up there. They'll be in contention. They'll be in the playoffs. They might even a couple of AFC championship games. But look for them to get knocked off that perch, and it'd be at least 4 more years before Patrick Mahomes sees another Super Bowl. Because that's the way that trend is heading. Okay, so you heard it here. Now, if I was starting a team from scratch, it's like, man, you look at Mahomes, all the talent, all the things he could do, and then you look at Joe Cool, and you go, the talent and all the things he can do. And the one thing I like about Joe Cool is Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, a couple of other greats, okay? Cause now, Joe ain't got there yet, but a couple other greats. As great as they were, as soon as they started getting hit, some of that greatness slipped down. Whether it was Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, as soon as they started getting smacked, Joe Burrow, and I think it was the Titans game, 9 sacks. 9. And then all the hits. Like, okay, he didn't get sacked, but we hit him a whole bunch of times too. He just gets up, goes, okay, let's go on down there, and stays up and takes another one. And like you said, he doesn't make the bad play. He does, he still makes the correct play. So, I'm going right now. I'd have to go with Joe Cool. I would have to go with Joe Cool. Now, before folks want me to turn in my African American brother card, I'm all about fairness in the competition. I sold out. I still got my my NAACP membership. I sold out on it. But man, you got to face it. The guy right now he's what you want. Right now, he's what and now if you want him to be all fancy, run around in the backfield, do all that stuff, fine, great. But he can take a licking and keep on kicking. And in some ways, he's like I almost want to say that he's a more athletic Big Ben. A more athletic Big Ben. He can, because Big Ben, strong arm, big guy, take the hits, but nobody was talking about his athleticism. But Joe Burrow got some athleticism. He ain't Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott, but the boy can shake a move, but he's gonna do the right thing. So I'm with you, First Lady. Joe Cool.
Well, so you said the Kansas City Chiefs will not win another, in 4 years they will not win a Super Bowl. Well, I just happened to look at their contracts. I'm just looking on their page. Now, this year, Tyrann Mathieu is a free agent now. He's a free agent now. But all their key players are under contract. Most of them are under contract to 2025, 2026. I mean, Kelsey's 2026. Mahomes, we know, is 2032. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is 2025. Now, Tyreek Hill is under contract to 2023. So, the one thing you really have to give it to the Kansas City Chiefs, because when I'm looking at their players, they draft well. Their players are mostly on rookie contracts until when it's time for it to go up, like Patrick Mahomes. So I disagree with you on that. I still see the Kansas City Chiefs still in that time frame where they can still win another championship. I just think they have to really rethink their offense a little bit. And like I said, they just can't continue to go for the big plays. They got to mix in more running, mix in short passes. Can't be about the big bang all the time. So no. Kansas City is still going to be, and of course it's going to be competitive because you got Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and you got the Bills. So there's a lot of competition in the AFC West. But I still think the Chiefs will be right up there. All right, Spitface, over to you.
All right. Now, I didn't say it wouldn't be a competition. I just said that they wouldn't be winning. All right. Let's see here. And don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fears, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition I'm towering. record shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the prize. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the NFL's Old Boys Club by Brian Flores and his lawsuit about the OBC racism and discrimination. Trying to bribe a coach to lose games? Fired after having back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in forever? Superstar quarterback Deshaun Watson would love to come to your team to work with him, but nah, you tanked for Tua. Will Flores get the Kaepernick treatment? Now, how many black NFL coaches are there? Has the number increased? Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and Jay's Cool Papa Bell are shaking their head and asking what you saying. You know, First Lady, kudos to Brian Flores, and I wanted to say, let the pontificating begin. Let the pontificating begin. And the pontificating will, it's like, because we already know the deal, and it's not like a secret. Now let's sit back and go, well, this is how it is, and I've listened to a lot of the pontification, and it sounds so shallow. It's so shallow. So this man took a risk for his entire career. We saw what happened with Kaepernick. Kaepernick was in the right. He was in the right, He wasn't trying to harm his sport. He was in the right. And they botched how they handled that, and the commission even admitted that. But because of the Old Boys Club and their fearness, and I'm going to say this, their fearness of a black nation, other than being subservient, that they did what they did. Instead of standing by their man and their player and the product that they produced, they started shaking in their little booties. And now, if there is not an investigation by the NFL, shame on them. Shame on them. If there is not an investigation into the NFL and what happened. Because, you look at Miami and you go, what the hell is on your mind? I'm going, hey, okay, you all in for Tua and he's not. But that's a rightful disagreement. But as Hugh Jackson said, hey, if the plan is already designed where I'm not going to be able to win, people don't look at it as, well, hell, you went to the Cleveland Browns. They weren't trying to win. They were trying to get these draft picks. You're still a great coach. No, they look up and say you were a horrid coach. You were lousy. And you had no control over the plan that management was putting together. You had no control over that. And they may not even told you that this is the deal, and so many they just lay it out, this direction we go, can you follow? And then you realize that, the plan is not for me to win. But the plan is that my reputation, let my reputation as a coach get beat up, while you still going to be here making money. I'm going to be scrapping to get another head coaching job in the NFL. So, First Lady, I believe him. I believe him that I don't think the man would just make up that kind of lie. I believe him that he was offered $100,000 a game for losing, that it was an incentive. Whatever way it got language, because I put it like this, I'm sure the boys in the back room are not opposed to saying things like, I won't say encrypted, But they know how to language things so that it doesn't come straight out as, look, we're paying you $100,000 to lose. You're going to get on the program or not. So now as of this moment, a lot of vacancies have been filled, and I don't, not one of them by one of the prominent black coaches that have been interviewed. None of them. Now, like I said, there may be a chance of one. First Lady, what you say?
Well, imagine on February 1st, 2022, Tom Brady officially retires, and the Super Bowl is 12 days away from happening, and the big story for that day is Brian Flores' lawsuit against the NFL and its 32 teams, but 3 teams specifically called out. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it happened. Flores' lawsuit rocked the fabric of the NFL and brought light to issues that many, many black people knew all along. We've known this for such a long time. Black coaches are not given a fair chance to get a head coaching job. And the Rooney Rule is useless because teams know how to get around the rule. And you know what, Spence, what was really so sad about the events on February 1st to me is how fast the NFL immediately came out to denounce Flores' lawsuit without stating that they're going to investigate these allegations or a statement indicating that we look forward to defending ourselves. I mean, they could have said something, but they flat out denied the allegations. And to me, the most controversial statement from Flores was, what he said that Stephen Ross was doing was providing him with financial incentives to tank. I mean, that to me was the most damaging thing because we already knew about the other situation. But, the NFL finally did come out and retracted the statement and basically said that they will investigate the accusations regarding the Stephen Ross situation, and Flores says he has corroborating evidence. His lawyer says that. And, yes, like you said, why wouldn't we believe him that happened? Why would he come out and lie about that? I mean, to be honest with you, it all makes sense now for the fact that the Dolphins had said that he doesn't collaborate. He's not he doesn't get along with people. I wouldn't get along with people either if you're trying to make me do some things that are not legal, because also they wanted him to meet some top-notch quarterback on his yacht, and we all know that was Tom Brady. I mean, that's against the rules. So you should be not cooperating with the team if they want you to do things like that. I mean, come on now. This man has some integrity, So obviously Stephen Ross came out with his old big statement and everything, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, all of them came out and denounced what he said. But like I said, things will be proven. And to be honest with you, Spitface, I mean, I commend Flores for what he's doing because it is a very powerful lawsuit. But will it change the landscape of the NFL at this point? I don't think so. It's going to, it's not going to make these owners hire more black head coaches. Because as of today, we still don't have a black coach hired. But the only thing it will do to me is show the whole process of hiring a coach. Because obviously when you get to a lawsuit, now it may not get to a lawsuit, who knows, because they may settle out of court, but I don't know if he's going to settle out of court because he's trying to get a class action lawsuit. And he's going to really need, he wants the class action lawsuit status, but he's going to need other coaches to come out to join that suit to make it bigger than what it is. But if it does go to trial, and to be honest, it doesn't necessarily have to go to trial because they can still do discovery. And that's the whole thing to me is in the discovery phase, it's going to probably bring out how these coaches are being hired because, you're going to be looking at emails, text messages, etc. And hopefully, usually, those things become public knowledge. And I'm quite sure the media will definitely pounce on that information once it comes to fruition, and then all this gets started. But I still don't think it's going to change things. The only way to change things regarding black coaches. You got to, and I think we talked about this last week. You got to put more black people in the pipeline to be hired as black coaches, and they just got to be feel like you said, Spitface. These owners have to be more comfortable hiring black coaches. So, I mean, what can be done? I mean, I understand the Rooney Rule has been changed a little bit because, last week I told you all they do is take a black coach off of their staff to interview them, but they now have decided that they can't do that anymore. They have to also have external people interview for jobs. So that's another thing that's going to hopefully help, but I still don't think it's going to make a big difference. Like Brian Flores said, you got to change the hearts of the people doing the hiring, and that's these owners. And the thing is, I really think Flores is still in contention to get a couple of jobs. He's interviewed for the Texan job. From my understanding, he's listed as one of the top candidates for the Texan job and for the Saints job. And to be honest with you, I think the Texan needs to hire him, and I think the reason they need to hire him because he's shown strength and leadership. And to be honest with you, right now, he is probably the best black coach out there. And but he still could get the Kaepernick treatment. He still can get the Kaepernick treatment. But I really think he's going to get hired. I really think he's going to get hired. But I mean, it was unbelievable. You talking about that was a rock shell which took place with that lawsuit. I mean, that blew people's minds. To be honest with you, like I said, that was the number one news. Anyway, that's all I'm saying.
All right, we said, it is kind of with all the news. You got the Super Bowl. You got Tom Brady retiring, as bungled as that was, but and it's interesting because they're trying. And the day is
bombshell.
The sports folks are they want to talk about the Super Bowl and because there are stories there, but it's just too big a thing, and it's like bam right at the timing. For the NFL could not have been worse. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Backhand Sally on Shout Out Part 1.
Brian Flores was giving them the backhand. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Backhand Sally.
On Shout-Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring Backhand Sally out of Rockwall. Rockwall, where's that, Spitface?
I have no clue.
Okay. Our producers didn't put Rockwall. They just like we're supposed to know where Rockwall is. Okay. They said.
Yeah, I think the band didn't tell them where Rockwall was.
Okay. Well, anyway, this is what they say about Backhand Sally. Backhand Sally is an Americana country rock group that performs an original mix of Americana, rock, blues, country, and soul. All right, we rarely have country and soul type of rock, that type of music on the blues, so let's hear Break It Good.
Come to my attention that we'll find it to the end. I don't need explanation, no, I truly understand. cliche. It doesn't suit you anyway. And before you go, I have one last thing I need to say. If you're gonna break my heart, better break it into so many pieces I'll never find it all again. Please break my heart so far apart if you could. No amount of time will ever help you mend. If I can hate you as much as I loved you, and I will never try to love you again. When you leave, take our memories with you too. Put them in a box, set them on fire. I don't give a shit what you do. I don't need your new number or your new address. We really need a clean break so we don't repeat ourselves. Well, I don't want to be a cliche. It never suited me. Anyway, this time when you break my heart, let it break it, into so many pieces I'll never find it all again. Please break my heart so far apart if you could. No amount of time will ever help it mend. I know you think you might come around once more, but I won't be around like all the time I was before. So this time when you break my heart, better break it good into so many pieces I'll never find it all again. Break my heart so far apart if you could. No amount of time will ever help it mend. If I can hate you as much as I loved you, then I will never try. Oh, I'll never try to love you again. I'll never try to love you again. Oh, break it. I'll never try to love you. Gonna break my heart. Break it. I'll never try to love you. Gonna break my heart. Oh, better break it. Better break it good.
Okay, that's Backhand Sally, and they're out of Rockwall, Texas, Spitface. Now, come on now, you know they from Texas. But anyway,
I thought they was from Arizona or something.
no, well, Rockwall is in Texas. I didn't see where it's near, but it's in Texas. But I definitely going to shout it out. I kind of enjoyed that song. It was kind of slow. I mean, the music, I'm going to say this. The production of it with the music, everything, I'm not sure if that's just the quality, but other than that, her voice, it was very compelling. I liked the words. I liked the song in general. and I'm definitely going to shout it out. I could some country and western music I can't listen to, but that one I can definitely listen to. All right, Spitface, you shouting it out, or are you going to hit the mute button?
I'm going to shout it out. I think that you alluded to the production quality, and I think that the production quality actually hindered her voice. So, and then whoever that guy is they had come in, they could have like, why did you do that? I don't think it did not add value to the song. But I think they had her just a little too, not so much slow, but a little low key. They needed to, it seemed like that like they could have had her be a little bit more expressive. So I'm shouting it out, and we'll see what's up on the next song.
Yeah, they can work on their technical part a little bit better. But anyway, Rockwall is outside of Dallas, Fort Worth area. So we'll.
Yeah, they probably Cowboy fans.
Okay, oh yeah, they are. Part 2 of Shout Out, we'll have another performance from Backhand Sally, but it's time for our favorite underwater friend. Is it time for Flip It?
They call him Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is smarter than he. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea.
All right, it's time for Flipper. Flipper got free Brian Flores signs. Now, Flipper, it ain't went to that now. All right. Now, time for Flipper, where our hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. Brian Flores has sued the NFL, and he could still be hired. Should the Houston Texans make the bold move and do the NFL and themselves a favor and hire Brian Flores? Defend. Hire Brian, and the Texans might keep Deshaun Watson and save the day for the NFL. The OBC doesn't want a cabinet situation. Now, First Lady, sometimes, being an old Bear fan, you never look for the Bears to make a positive, controversial move. Okay? Now, note I said positive, controversial move. Because they'll make some controversial moves, but they're like questionable, in the world of questionable. Like hiring coaches that have no head coaching experience when they could get coaches who do. Things like that, have the Bears scratching their head. But the Texans, Bear fans look at the Texans and go, man, that organization. The Texans have a prime opportunity. Right now, the organization is who knows what, and the coaching situation, you got all this stuff. The perfect person to bring in is Brian Flores, who turned the Miami Dolphins around, who Deshaun Watson actually said, hey, I want to go to Miami because you got him. Well, bring him on to your team. Even if Deshaun doesn't stay, you're still in a better situation. And you might get to keep him. Plus, the NFL doesn't have to deal with he's being blackballed. Because right now, that's what the whole race situation is with the lawsuit. Is that it's not a matter of being blackballed, it's a matter of being blacklisted. We are not going to sit up there and have you, with our process. Right now, they could bring Bryant into the Texans, help that terrible organization to right the ship, possibly keep Deshaun Watson, and the NFL can say, hey, look, well, he did get a job as a head coach to at least mitigate some of what's about to come out. First Lady, defend.
Well, as I previously said in the last segment, the Texans should consider hiring Flores because he is a great coach, and his action shows that he has courage, leadership, and strength. So, those are qualities that you would want in your coach, to be fearless. That's what a coach can do, to be fearless, to be a leader of men, to be strong. Brian Flores has shown all of these qualities with the lawsuit. And, it's like you said, Spitface, Deshaun Watson, if he can resolve his legal issue, he wanted to play for Flores in Miami, so he could stay with the Texans and play for him there. And it makes a lot of sense for the Texans to try to keep Watson because, as we just said, he'd be more inclined to stay and play for Flores. And the Texans, they need to rectify the situation and what they did to David Culley this past season. Basically, they set that man up to fail. And they had no intentions on trying to win. All they wanted to do was to make sure he's the guy that can sit up there and answer the questions about Deshaun Watson. So the Texans really need, like you said, they need to right the ship, and they need to bring in Brian Flores because they need to be the team to do the right thing for the NFL owners because they've already hired a black coach before, so it wouldn't be out of their norm. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be out of the strong possibility that they would hire a black coach. They've already done it. So they, like I said, they need to make sure they hire a black coach for the right reason, and Flores would be hired for the right reason because he's a darn good coach. And they've had so many bad coaches, and all of them have been white for the most part, because I'm not even going to put that on David Culley that he's a bad coach because he really wasn't given a chance to be a good coach. But now if they can bring Deshaun Watson back, Flores can show them that he's a great coach, and they need to do the right thing. We need to get a black coach hired. So why not be the Texans? The Texans need to flip this and do the right thing, Spitface.
Say, flip it and do the right thing. And speaking of flip it, we're going to flip the script and defend the opposing views. The Texans should not hire Brian Flores. They have enough problems with the Deshaun Watson upcoming circus. Hiring a controversial coach and you have an already shaky organization would be a disaster. Now, this is not Brian Flores' fault that the Texans have such a screwed up organization. But for Brian Flores to come into the Texans with this hot mess would be another setup for failure and blame. They bring in Brian Flores, and Deshaun goes, well, you know what, I'd like to play for Brian, but I don't want to play for him with the Texans. Now you got that circus. And everything is about to come to a head with Deshaun Watson legally. He may clear it all, but then the NFL may suspend him. You got all of that, and it's going to be laid at the feet of Brian Flores. Oh, Brian didn't straighten this hot mess out. Oh, Watson left anyway. It's just not, the situations for him, it's like, man, Brian coming to the Texans. I don't know. I know Brian wants to be a head coach, but and he might say, "Look, I took on the Miami Dolphins," but I'm going, man. Maybe the Texans might be even more convoluted, upside down, and turned around than even the Dolphins. But I do know one thing. They ain't going to offer him no $100,000 to lose any games because they know the team can do that by itself. First Lady, defend.
Well, hiring Flores will add to the circus atmosphere around the Texans, who already had problems with the Deshaun Watson issue. I mean, and then the Texans already manipulated a black head coach in David Culley, parading him around as a head coach so he could answer all the questions surrounding Deshaun Watson. So to me, hiring Flores would seem like he will be another fall guy for the NFL, manipulating another black coach so they can put pressure on him to drop the lawsuit. You don't think if they hired Flores that the Texans be working behind the scenes to get Flores to drop that? I mean, this Texas organization has been so chaotic for years. They need some form of normalcy, and hiring Flores will not bring that to this team. The Texans, they need stability and need a clean break from Deshaun Watson, and any further controversy that they can muster up. And I mean, if you're hiring Flores, you're talking about controversy. They would be in the media every single day. The news media would be following them. I mean, it would be more of a circus with Flores than it would be with Deshaun Watson. So why would you put that on your team? Why would you put that on your organization? So now, no. It's already a shaky situation for this organization. They need to get back on some steady ground, and it would just be too disastrous. I hate to say we need black coaches hired, but not in Texas. Not in Texas. They need to stay away. Oh, no.
Give yourself a break. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2. Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
You know, I see why I'm not, First Lady, I couldn't be in the criminal life. Well, alleged Vancouver van thief takes coffee break outside the police station. Sometimes you should just wait for your coffee break. Vancouver police said a man drove away in a delivery van that had been left parked with the keys inside around 6 a.m. on Monday on Robson Street near Homer. A few minutes later, a few officers who had heard about the alleged theft saw the same vehicle cruising by the police station on Canby Street. The cops watched as the driver parked and casually strolled into a nearby coffee shop. The officers followed him inside and after a brief struggle arrested the man. It does not appear that either mental health or drugs were a factor in the incident. Brian Ross Phillips, 55, has been charged with theft of a motor vehicle and taking a motor vehicle without the owner's consent. The van and its cargo were safely returned to a grateful delivery driver. Gosh darn, water is splashing everywhere. It must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It.
Who has a better chance of being the Super Bowl MVP, Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow? Panel defend. The quarterback-winning team will get the MVP. Hope Joe Cool likes Disney. Spitface defend.
Most of the time the MVP is going to the quarterback of the winning team. Now, Joe Cool, sometimes, there's the saying you rather be. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. He lucky and good. He got it. He got it all going for him. So. If he repeats the performances that he's had during the playoffs, right now he's the MVP of the playoffs. If they had an MVP of the playoffs, he would be the man. He'd be the man. So I think it's kind of easy to say, Joe Cool, you're going to Disney, brother, with that MVP trophy. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay, yeah, Joe Cool will be winning. He's going to be the winning quarterback because he's a winning quarterback. He's never lost an important game since college, and it has spilled over to the NFL. I mean, I cannot bet against him anymore. He has proven that he shines in big games. In a short span, he's already won a national championship, a Heisman Trophy, and he's taken the Cincinnati Bengals, historically one of the, I mean, let's face it, historically the Bengals have been so inept when it comes to winning playoff games, and he's taken them to their first Super Bowl in more than 3 decades. Who else is going to be the MVP? I don't care if he doesn't have a good game and they win. Joe Burrow is winning the MVP. All right, team, we're going to flip this script. Panel defend. Usually the quarterback of the winning team gets the MVP. Matthew Stafford, you are out of Detroit and going to Disney. Spit-face defend.
You know, Matthew Stafford, the thing about Matthew Stafford, and I think Matthew is a Georgia Bulldog, so I think he's out of Georgia, out of the Georgia Bulldogs. And really, I am so glad that he did not languish his career in Detroit. Now, I love Detroit. I got peoples in Detroit, so I ain't talking about the city, but the team sucked. That's all it is. And there's a point where, you know, as a quarterback, you know, if you're not making it to playoffs, let alone to like the division championship, conference championships, and Super Bowl, but if you're not even making it to playoffs and winning a few playoff games, you know, no matter what kind of stats you got, it's always going to be questionable how good a quarterback you really were. You know, look at Tony Romo. Tony Romo has broken all sorts of Dallas Cowboy records. You think he's going to go to the Hall of Fame? It ain't looking like it with his no win in a playoff, you know, and how many did he go to? So, you know, Matt Stafford got every stat for a quarterback for the Detroit franchise, period, hands down. And his chances of going to the Hall of Fame slim to none, even with all of that. And not his fault. He was a loyal soldier. But to go to the Los Angeles Rams and get them over the hump and back into the Super Bowl and win it, man, you know, Matt Stafford, I think you're going to Disney.
All right. You think Matt Stafford is going to Disney. All right. Well, you know, overall, to me, the Rams have the best team from top to bottom. Every position has a top-notch player. Offense, you got Cooper Kupp. Defense, you got Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. They were just one slight piece away from basically being a good team, a great team, a Super Bowl contention team, and, of course, that was the quarterback position. They went as far as they could with Jared Goff. I mean, he did take them to a Super Bowl one year, but it wasn't enough. And they knew that they needed a significant upgrade. And who did they get out of Detroit? They got Matthew Stafford. I mean, this quarterback, he has experience. He's been to 3 playoff games 3 separate times with the Detroit. Obviously, he didn't win a playoff game with Detroit, but he already surpassed that record because when he came to the Rams, he won 2 playoff games to get to where he is now. And the Rams went in all the way to win to be at this point. I don't see Matthew Stafford choking. I see him only playing a top-notch game. And Disney, here he comes. All right, Spitface, take us to break. Please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Backhand Sally out of Rockwall, Texas. Shout out part 2. Please, please, please stay tuned.
You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2. the picks, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, we have another performance from Backhand Sally, which we all know is from Rockwall, Texas. DJ, let's hear Mexico Crush. Rock.
Don't worry, baby, it didn't mean a thing. There were no I love yous or no diamond rings, so don't think too much. It was just a Mexico crush. I'm sorry, baby, it happened so fast. You really gotta stop living in the past, so don't think too much. It was just a Mexico crush. Cat is gone, the mice will play. It started out as just a silly little game. You know I love you, but she's not the same. I didn't even stop to ask for her name, so don't think too much. It was just a Mexican crush. She was just a waitress, as pretty as could be. Wasn't thinking about those birds and the bees, so don't think too much. It was just a Mexico crush. Deep as the ocean, I caught a look in her eyes. She was looking at me, much to my surprise, so don't think too much. It was just a Mexico crush. When the music started playing, she was on the dance floor. By the way she moved, I knew I needed more. There's right and wrong, but what could I do? You can't blame me, cause you would've liked it too, so don't think too much. It was just a Mexico she was already gone. No kiss goodbye, she just moved right along. Like she was never there, so hard to believe. If this could happen, or was it a dream? So don't think too much. It was just a Mexico crush. So don't think too much. She was just a Mexico crush. All right, that was Mexico Crush
First Lady, I'm going to give it a shout-out, and I also want to say that the sound, I'll say that it took me back to some Jim Morrison. Now, yeah, it took me back to a little Jim, but like they got a little Jim Morrison. And I think that they produced this track a little bit better, so if I was the young lady, I'd complain. Like why this track get to be sounding all good and smooth, and my track was just okay sounding. So, she ought to, she might have to call up Brian Flores and see if she can get a suit in right quick, that so that they can tighten their act up. But I'm giving it a shout-out. It took me back to the Doors and Jim Morrison, and when they added the lady at the end, it actually sounded good. So I'm going to give it a shout-out. What you saying, First Lady?
I'm going to shout it out. It was quite interesting. Like the guitar and the music was really good. And to be honest with you, it reminded me of the second. I want to say either the second or the third. I think maybe the third Kill Bill movie soundtrack. Just the guitar playing. It reminds me of when. It just reminds me from Kill Bill, the movie for some reason. Quentin Tarantino's movie. Kill Bill, but I'm going to shout it out. I'm going to definitely shout it out.
All right. That is the inner shout-out. If you liked what you heard from Backhand Sally, check them out on Old Grumpy Radio Network and BackhandSallyMusic.com. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to content@OldGrumpyRadio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right. Who will wear the NFL crown? Obviously, the Super Bowl is next week. We do not have any picks this week, but we do have results from last week, and I don't know. It's quite interesting with these results. I'm getting them up now. Just give me a few minutes. I should have had them up. Okay, here we go. No, that's not the results. I don't know what happened to the results. Oh, here we go. I got I know what happened to the results because I'm ashamed to even show these results because I had a terrible week. I mean, terrible. All right, so let's go over the results. Dizzy Mack had 12.5 million points. He led the way. Spitface, you were close second, 11.5 million points. For me, I had a minus 1.5 million points, and this is where we are. I am bringing up the rear. I went from first place to last place. I have 12 million points. Dizzy Mack has 17.04 million points. And Spitface, you are leading the way with 20.19 million points. So it's all going to come down to next week, Super Bowl, and I'm quite sure we're going to have a lot of overs and under and maybe some props, different type of props. They could do the national anthem. Do they go over, under so many minutes? It's just so many over and unders I can see producers coming out with for next week. But obviously next week will be determined who will wear the NFL crown. All right, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
The top story it's still gonna move the Super Bowl over Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna just remain the top story because if he doesn't get hired by a team, it's going to be a top story. And if he does get hired by a team, it's going to be the top story.
Yeah, that's true, Brian Flores. But I have to go to the NBA this week because the trading deadline is Thursday. So we will see if Ben Simmons gets traded, if James Harden gets traded, and if the darn New York Knicks try to get rid of most of the people on their staff to make room for the young people. If they will trade Julius Randle and Kemba Walker because they need to do something immediately. So, if you're an NBA fan, we live for the end of the season, February 10th. That's when we have the trade deadline. Okay. All right, I want to give a shout-out to a couple of teams and women who are doing well in the Winter Olympics. I know very seldom we talk about the Winter Olympics, so I said let me get them in now. There's the Russian 15-year-old figure skater, Kamila Valieva, and she's been really performing really well at the Olympics. She is basically going to win the top prize as a gold medalist, and she's only 15 years old. And we got to salute our U.S. women's hockey team. They continue to be unbeaten with a 3-0 record at the Olympics. So let's shout out to the Winter Olympics. And I know I haven't really watched too much, but actually I don't think I've watched any of it so far. But I'll wait till they get to most of the figure skating, and that's about it. All right, join us and our partners, the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center, as we honor our veteran women entrepreneurs. Please visit us. Please visit honorourveteranwomen.com. That's honorourveteranwomen.com. Check out our current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesAndSports.com and on our Facebook page at BP Sports. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.